if you're perfect 100% of the time, you're not doing something right. Good morning. Today my gym is doing this event called Pro Day. So essentially it's a bunch of different coaches from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So the entire day. Spend a lot of time diving into stuff that we don't normally have the time for when it comes to like training and sport and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be spending the day doing essentially just working out, getting a lot of feedback, learning a lot of things. Should be a lot of fun. So I will take you guys along with me and see how it goes. I'm making oats this morning instead of my normal sourdough and eggs and avocado because that's just a little bit higher fat than I want before working out all day. And within close proximity because it's 7:30 and I need to be leaving by like 8:20. So I have my oats and it's just gonna give me a little bit more carbs and a little bit less fat so that I have better fueling for an entire day of working out. Okay, I've got all of my components. First, I'm gonna do this. Okay, this is the finished product. Oh, almost dumped it out. Might not be pretty, but it gets the job done and it tastes good. Okay, I finished my breakfast and now I'm getting my bag packed up and getting all my stuff ready. So I'm gonna be mixing my carbs and electrolytes into my shaker bottle so that I can have this throughout the day. And I also have a few applesauce packets. I like those a lot during workouts because it's not just fluid, but it's still pretty easy to digest and it's a quick carb for when you need it like mid-workout. So I'm gonna have these. I have my normal water and then I'm bringing a lunch that I'm gonna have in the middle of the day. It's just like chicken and rice, pretty like light on the stomach. So that is it. I'm gonna gather up my stuff and I'm gonna head over there. So I will see you at the gym. Okay, so block A, we started with Olympic weightlifting, which is the snatch and the clean and jerk. We started with the basics, broke up each of the movements into the 3 pulls. So starting from the floor to knee to power position, and then power position to dropping under, so for the snatch, catching it overhead in the full squat, and then for the clean, same deal. And then we also talked a little bit about the jerk. We started with just the PVC pipe and then worked our way to the empty barbell so we could really hone in on specific technique. After we drilled first, second, and third pulls, talked about positioning, talked about mobility, all that stuff, we worked up to a heavy single in one of the lifts. I did the snatch today because that is my struggle, consistent struggle. It was very helpful, but also stressful because you have multiple coaches telling you multiple different cues. They're all going to be focusing on different things, which is really helpful to get a comprehensive view of what it is you're doing. But when you're trying really hard, at least for me, so I'll speak from my experience. In my experience, especially with the snatch, which is something that I know that I struggle with and just gives me a lot of stress, trying to focus on so many different things kind of sent me into a little bit of a spiral. So I was struggling with that. And then I just kind of took a step back and focused on something specific, one specific thing. I focused on keeping my head looking forward while I was in my setup position and keeping the bar close and keeping my lats active in my catch. So I had a little bit of a meltdown almost while I was doing my snatches, had a few misses, pulled it back together, and was able to get some good reps in. Part 2 was powerlifting, which is where my roots are in fitness. So this was fun for me. We talked a lot about the difference between high bar and low bar squatting, hand positioning and body positioning. We set up in the way we do for different lifts, and then the rules on powerlifting and incorporating that into CrossFit. So we did all of our setups, got feedback on our positioning, and then the same deal as Olympic lifting. We had one lift that we built up to a heavy single in. I really wanted to do deadlift because deadlift is definitely my strongest of the 3 power lifts, deadlift, squat, bench. But my coach, Kara, she moved my hands out a little bit wider on my bench, so she wanted me to build up to a heavy single on bench. I was kind of bummed. Benching is not the most exciting thing in my opinion, but I hit some heavy singles, built up, actually hit a PR. I hit 175. I don't actually know how much of a PR that is. I just know that I've hit 165 before, and I think maybe 170, so it was either a 5 or 10 pound PR, which was awesome, especially considering that I don't bench very frequently. It's a little bit of a supplement to the other stuff I do, so I'll do close grip bench press, but traditional bench I don't do frequently. So it was really good to have that opportunity and see my strength improving. So that was our powerlifting block. After that block, we all had lunch. I brought my chicken and rice meal prep just so that I didn't have anything super heavy on my stomach while we were doing all this fitness, but I had that, and then some applesauce pouches as well. Just kind of hung out for a little while, chatted, had a good time. And then we all brought it back in and we did a little bit of a block on nutrition. So we talked about macros, calories in, calories out, that kind of stuff, and then the importance of fueling for performance and just the volume that you really need to eat in order to sustain performance, especially with like volume of carbs specifically, and then making sure you hit protein. And nutrition is the basis for all fitness and health. I mean, you can't outwork a bad diet. So especially with trying to be a performance athlete, it's really important to make sure that you're providing your fuel for that. Hi, buddy. Okay, our first block after lunch was gymnastics, which is one of the things that CrossFit kind of gets a bad rap on sometimes, but it's really about figuring out how to move your body through space and understanding body positioning. So we spent the beginning of this block just talking about how to control your body and the positions that your body needs to be in order to do movements effectively. So we did a lot of hollow body holds, a lot of arch holds, and then switching between those to emulate the kipping movement that's seen in CrossFit very frequently. We talked about the importance of having strict strength. Having strength is important, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be moving as well as you're developing that strength. So we did all of the body positioning whenever, how to keep your core tight, how to engage different muscles to help your body move more efficiently. And then we did the same kind of deal where we went into working on one specific skill that we needed to work on. And so for me, that was ring muscle ups. because that has been the biggest challenge for me with my gymnastics. I fell through the rings maybe a year ago doing ring muscle ups, and it's been a little bit of a mental battle to feel comfortable and confident getting up on top of them. And I have a tendency to get really loose in my body and just kind of fling myself. So on this block, I worked on keeping my body tight and moving efficiently through the ring muscle up so that I wasn't wasting energy and so that I was staying controlled, so that when I'm doing multiple reps, I don't just start swinging around all over the place. So it was pretty frustrating because I did not grow up doing gymnastics. Gymnastics has been a struggle for me, and this is something that's been really particularly difficult. But I was able to move from my normal ring muscle up, which is pretty messy looking, into a very tight, controlled rep after a lot of stress and mental anguish. So it was good. Okay, and then our final block was, of course, the Metcon, which is just the CrossFit word for conditioning, usually higher intensity workouts. This one specifically was, there were 3 different variations, and you did the variation that suited where you were. We talked a lot about pacing and how to get through these workouts based on where each person is individually, and how to break down a workout and kind of plan for how long things are going to take, what paces you should hold, all that kind of stuff. And one of the coaches knows that I have competitive aspirations, and so instead of letting me pace, he came and essentially paced for me. So I was pushed to a very uncomfortable place, but it was a good learning opportunity. And came away feeling very dead. It was a really tough workout. It was 3 rounds of a 500 meter row, 15 chest to bar, 10 push jerks at 105 pounds, and then 20 wall balls at 20 pounds. So a little bit heavier weights, high enough reps to be challenging. All in all, it was really good though. It was really challenging, really pushed my limits, and finished up feeling like I had a very challenging day. I was gonna do my recap outside, but there are wasps flying around, so I figured this would be better. It is 5:15 now. I got home about 10 minutes ago, so it was a long day, but a really good day. I honestly think one of like the biggest takeaways from the day though, something that was really kind of great to see. We started the day with everybody going around and saying something that they wanted to get out of the day. So everybody going around the group. And then at the end of the day, we brought it all back together and we all said one thing that we were going to take away. And one of the blocks that we had was talking about like sports performance, like mental performance and stuff like that. We had the opportunity to listen to what everybody was going to take away. And like the consistent thing around the group was being where you are, but still, you know, striving to get better. Not comparing yourself to other people. You're really only competing with yourself. Like, yes, if you're a competitive person, you want to win, but at the end of the day, it's you wanting to get better than you were the day before. And one of the big things that people talked about was just being kinder to yourself. It can be really challenging when you have high expectations. You have high expectations for what you want to do. You have big goals. You have, you know, dreams and specific things that you want to accomplish. And when you're not quite getting there as quickly as you want to, or you think you're behind or anything, you can get pretty down on yourself. A lot of us were talking about struggling with negative self-talk and just self-doubt, and maybe we need to be just a little bit kinder to ourselves in our process, because it's not quick. It's really challenging and you're working hard every single time you step in, every time you put yourself in a position to challenge yourself, there's a good chance that you're going to end up failing sometimes. And that's part of it. You know, if you aren't failing, you're probably not challenging yourself, and that means you're probably not getting better. So having those failures, it's just a step along the way. It means you're making progress, and that not everything is going to be perfect every single time. That's just the way it is. It's a fact of life. It's part of growing. It's part of getting better. And we need to give ourselves a little bit of grace in those moments where not everything is going perfectly. Not everything is going to fit the timeline that we have in our heads, and that's okay. Most of the time it's not. And what matters is that you keep showing up and you keep working and just keep being consistent and keep reaching for those goals. Being in that group of people of all kinds of backgrounds, competitive, powerlifting, Olympic lifting, some older ladies who, you know, are staying fit through their entire lives, and some people who are new to CrossFit, some people who have been doing it for a long time. So we had this wide variety of people, and it seemed like the common theme, the thing that everybody there felt like they needed to take away, was that not everything is going to be perfect. We need to be patient. It's a process, and we deserve to give ourselves a little bit of grace along the way, because what we do is hard, and it's okay to not be perfect 100% of the time. You're not. If you're perfect 100% of the time, you're not doing something right. You're not challenging yourself enough, because it's just not the way it works. So all in all, it was a really good day, 9 to 4 pretty much in the gym. My dream day, my dream job, if I'm being honest, but I am exhausted now. So I'm going to shower because it's 5:30 and I have not showered yet and I feel disgusting. So I'm going to go shower, and thank you guys for joining along. If you enjoyed watching, if you enjoy content like this, talking about fitness and performance and health, drop a like, subscribe. I hope to see you again next time, and thanks for watching.